Right, in this session, we're going to be talking about the remaining characteristics of a lookup relationship. The one that we will start is this one, number 3, that says lookup relationship fields do not need to be marked as required on the page layout. So what does that mean actually? If you remember, in between this assignment object and the teacher object, we have a lookup relationship. And if I click on this icon to edit this assignment record, as you can see, this teacher lookup field is not a required field. For example, I can save it without populating a value in that teacher lookup field. So that's what it actually means. But if you remember, in master detail relationship, this lookup field is a required field. It is a required field. For example, we have an object, which I remember we have an apartment object, right? Let me open this apartment record. This apartment object has a master detail relationship between the building object, right? Between this building object. If I try to create a new apartment record, as you can see, this building field is a required field. You cannot make it not required if the relationship is master detail relationship. But if it is a lookup relationship, you have an option to keep as a not required. Okay? So in lookup relationship, that lookup field is not necessarily a required field. That's what this number 3 is talking about. Next, it says that lookup relationships do not support creating rollup summary fields. All right. So again, let's go back to our objects, which is assignment and teacher object, right? So our assignment is a child object of the teacher object. They have a lookup relationship between each other. Now, if assignment object and the teacher object has a lookup relationship in between them, then that means on the teacher object, we cannot create a rollup summary field that summarizes the assignment object. For example, if I go here to my teacher object, fields and relationship, click on new button and select rollup summary field, click next. Let's give it a name, just random name, right? You see, we have an option to select credentials object from here, but we don't have the option to select the assignment object. Why? Because between teacher and assignment, we have lookup relationship. Let's look further down, go to the schema builder and view those relationships so that we can have better understanding. So I'm adding here this credentials object, right? So let's add that credentials. Now, as you can see here, we were able to create rollup summary field on teacher object that summarizes credential object because they have master detail relationship in between. But we cannot create a rollup summary field on the teacher object that summarizes assignment object because between assignment and teacher object, we have a lookup relationship, as you can see from here, right? Just important to keep that in mind. Next one is, let's go to the next slide. It says, if this option, which it is referring to this option down here that in a smaller case, you may not be able to see it, but I'll open my other screen to show it to you. This option, which is do not allow deletion of the lookup record that is part of a lookup relationship. If this option is selected, then the parent record cannot be deleted while it has a child record attached to it via a lookup relationship. So let me explain this one to you. I'm going to go back to my assignment record, right? Assignment record. And let me relate this to a teacher record, right? That's it, right? I have one assignment record that is related to the teacher record, correct? Question is, can I delete this teacher record now? Can I delete this teacher record? So if I go to my teacher record, right? I'm right now on the teacher record. And if I click on this delete button, I'll be able to delete it, right? That teacher got deleted. Mr. Murat was deleted. But this assignment is still remaining here because that's the part of the characteristic of the lookup relationship. If parent record is deleted, the child record is not deleted in a lookup relationship. But if we configure this setting, which says don't allow deletion of the lookup record that is part of a lookup relationship. If I select this option, then it is not going to allow me to delete a parent record in a lookup relationship. All right. So let me go and configure that and then test it. So I'm going back to Object Manager, right? Let's go back. Let me remind you, between teacher and assignment, we have that lookup relationship. Now I'm going to open this assignment object and go to this teacher lookup field and make that configuration. Object Manager, assignment. And then I will go to fields and relationship. Here I have this teacher lookup field. Click on it. We're going to edit this. And scroll down. Then I have this option that I can select. By default, this one is selected. It says clear the value of this field. You can't choose this option if you make this field required. And the question is what to do if the lookup record is deleted. What is the lookup record? Is it a child record or is it a parent record? So in this scenario, the lookup record refers to the parent record, okay? So remember the assignment and teacher record assignment and teacher record relationships. The teacher was the lookup record in that scenario. And we deleted the teacher record and nothing happened to the assignment record. It stayed there. All right. It says clear the value of this field. So what happened there? Right? We deleted the Mr. Murat teacher record and it deleted the value from this teacher lookup field. That's exactly what it means here. Clear the value of this field. Which field? Clear the value of this lookup field, okay? Sometimes it's hard to understand from these messages what it exactly means, but that's what exactly it means. Now I'm going to select this option and then click Save. All right. Then I'll go back to my math homework assignment record and then relate this to a teacher record. Okay. So looks like we don't have any teachers. Okay. Let me show you that part. Looks like we don't have any teacher records. Let me create a teacher. You could also directly create it from that lookup field, but I prefer to do this way. Let's say Mr. John. All right, now I'll go back to the assignment record. Let me now relate this assignment record to Mr. John. All right, select him, click Save. Then what I will do is I'll go back to Mr. John, the teacher record, and try to delete. It says, are you sure you want to delete this? I'm going to say delete. Now it says your attempt to delete Mr. John could not be completed because it is associated with the following assignments. All right. So that's because of the configuration we just did. All right. Because of this configuration, let me edit this and show you that button here because of this configuration. Now, does that mean that I cannot delete the parent record? It doesn't mean necessarily that. It means if the parent record has a child record, it cannot be deleted. But if I remove that child record from the parent record, then it can be deleted. So in this scenario, if I want to remove this Mr. John, what I need to do is I need to relate this math homework. I need to relate this not to Mr. John, but to another teacher. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's relate this assignment record to another teacher. So let's create a new teacher, Mr. Adam, and save, right? Click save again. Now this assignment is related to Mr. Adam and not to Mr. John anymore. So that means we can now go ahead and delete Mr. John freely. Let's go to teachers, and here's Mr. John, and I will delete that record. Okay, this record was deleted. But we cannot delete Mr. Adam. Why? Because he is now related to that assignment record. Okay, that's another configuration that we can do to look up relationships. Now, next what we can do is we can make the lookup field as required by selecting this option. So as you can see currently, what's happening is we go to student assignment records and math homework, right? And as you can see, this teacher lookup field is not a required field, right? But I can make it required if you want to. In order to do that, we'll go back to that lookup field, which is the teacher lookup field on assignment object, guys. And we can select this option. Always require a value in this field in order to save a record. Click save. Now, from now on, anytime you create an assignment record, it will require a teacher record to be associated with it. It's kind of now behaves as a master detail relationship, because in master detail relationship, this lookup field is a required field. But in a lookup, you have the power to make it required or not required according to your needs. So now let's do a refresh. And what I'll do is click and edit. So it's still not reflected here. Let me do a harder refresh. If that does not help, we will try to create new assignment record to demo it. All right, you see, now the teacher is a required field on this assignment record. So I have to give a teacher record value in order to be able to save this record. Otherwise, it's going to throw that error message. Okay, let's give a teacher and save. All right. So those are some of the important characteristics of lookup relationship. We have some more which we'll cover in the next session.